Welcome to the Spirit Gathering teleconference. Today is September 20th, 2016. My name is Topsoil, and today's call is called Being Together, and we're really glad you've joined us. We're recording this call so that people who couldn't be here tonight can listen in. So in order to keep the static down on the line, muting when you're not talking is a good idea. You can use your own phone's mute button. Or *6 to use the teleconference system's muting. So tonight, the circle format is a little bit of a hybrid. There'll be time for talking stick sharing, and then also silent contemplation and transmission of light. During the talking sticks sharing section, we use a virtual talking stick with the idea that one person is talking at a time and everybody else is listening to the person who's talking when that person's talking, and then when they're done they say putting down the stick or some other formal way of letting people know that you're complete with your sharing, and then somebody else can pick up the stick. And for tonight's sharing, I'd like to invite us to take at least the time of a good breath between when somebody finishes sharing and the next person begins, just to really give space to what each person has said and allow it to sink in, and so we can all have some time to be with that energy and be with the content of what each person has shared. Holding space with me tonight are Randy Sherman and Nancy Rubin, and Diane Wyan has agreed to be our timekeeper. So once the opening remarks are done and we've all had a chance to check in, we'll see how much time is available for the sharing, and then Diane will be the timekeeper for that portion. And also probably, to let us know when the sharing is done after the silent time too. So now let's take a moment to get settled in, to center ourselves, let go of the day's events, and begin to enter a deeper sacred space, connecting with the divine, connecting with ourselves, connecting with the earth. And then let us imagine that we're joining together in a circle with a flame or light in the center of the circle, and there's a spoke of light coming from the center of the circle to each of our hearts, and from our hearts to the center of the circle. In that way, we're connected, and we're also connected through the circle, through the rim of the circle, side by side. And let us set intention to listen to each other with compassion and curiosity, asking for what we need and offering what we can. In tonight's format, that offer might be energetic on the inner planes, more than spoken out loud, but that offer can still be made. Our connection, or our intention to deepen our connection with one another and the divine, that this sharing may serve us, our communities, the planet, and all that is. So it is. Great. So for tonight, my idea was to just open a space for us to share from our hearts something, or maybe more than one thing, that we'd like to have heard and witnessed, and would like to have light transmitted to be held in light, in community. So it could be anything that anybody's moved to share, anything from your life. I just ask that it be something that's alive, something that has meaning and impact, and it can be positive, it can be celebratory, it can be about being witnessed, it could be asking for help or support, or something that that we might like more understanding or deeper insight into. So there's really a wide range of what could be shared, and the idea is to just speak from the heart about whatever it is that you feel drawn to speak about. And then while each person is speaking, I ask us to listen, and to listen with compassion and curiosity, and for what we can listen in a lot of different ways, and listen for a lot of different things. Some ideas, some things that occurred to me, I made a little list earlier, was like we could listen for beauty, we could listen for appreciation, we could listen for the person's strength, we could listen for potential, we could listen for accomplishment. There are lots of ways to listen and lots of things to listen for, and the main idea is to listen in a way that holds the person who's speaking as big, as divine, as whole, to support their unfolding. Good. So it looks like we have about 18 minutes until the top of the hour, and there are 6 people on the call. So that's about 2-3 minutes each, 2 minutes, leaving a little space for time in between. Diane, are you ready to be the timekeeper for this section?
Yes. I will say when 2 minutes has passed, I will just say 2 minutes. And then if you can complete your thought, that would be great.
And then at the top of the hour, we'll move into silence for 10 minutes, and then we'll have 10 minutes to share, and then we'll do a checkout and close the call. So when you pick up the talking stick to share, if you could say your name and where you are, and then anything that you feel moved to share for the 2 minutes for each person. So I'll move into silence now and let whoever is motivated to go first to do so. Oh, and one other option I'll put out there is that if you don't want to share out loud, you can pick up the stick and let us know who you are, and just be in silence for your 2 minutes if you'd like. That's another option.
Hi, this is Ken. I'll pick up that talking stick. What I'd like a little prayer and positive energy sent for a condition that's happened in the last little bit with daughter and family, and we're reaching the end of the trip to New Zealand, so we're going to be coming back to the United States. So there'll be about 8,000 miles separating us, and mileage doesn't help when there's a major situation ruminating among the parties. I'd just like to have everything held in prayer and know that God is working through this for a higher good, and I'd like to see that as soon as possible. Amen, and I'll set down that talking stick.
It's topsoil. I'm here in San Francisco. I'll pick up the stick and go next. The thing that's arising for me is I've been doing a lot of study and also healing of what, I use the term because it seems to make sense, developmental trauma. That idea and paradigm has been really powerful for me, and I feel like I've been in the process of doing a lot of healing work in my life and in my being. And the thing that I would like to bring light to is that process of healing those inner places where I wasn't met, and where that energy hasn't yet resolved. That happened with compassion and with ease. It seems like over the last little while, patterns that were sort of more energetic or emotional, it seems like they're shifting around, and little physical symptoms, expressions are showing up, and that seems like part of the process. And I ask for the discernment to not get caught up in fear around those things, but to be able to stay in a open, compassionate space and allow that energy to move, and that my experience can be of positive use to others in any way on the inner planes or through contact with the people I meet, just dedicating whatever energy is released to the highest good.
2 minutes.
That's what occurs to me. Thank you.
Hi, this is Gwen.
Hi. Oh, go on.
Hello? This is Gwen Jonah. And first of all, I'd like to say I have a great deal of gratitude for my life right now. And I feel very blessed and very thankful. And I'm wanting to make some shifts of letting go of stuff, habits, all of that, and opening to a possibility to explore more of my creativity. And I have some projects that include creativity, but are not only that. They're more utilitarian, but require some creativity. So I'm finding myself delaying those projects, not quite knowing where to go or how to pull them off. So I'd really like to have a boost in that area so that I get myself, and I think it comes, the more I can free up and let go, the more energy I have to do some of the other projects and interests that I'm wanting to make room for. So it all seems to be like one will feed the other if I can move forward that way. And that I ask that when I do these things, I do them all from the place of the highest intention that it will be of benefit to all beings. And I am wanting to hold that intention more and more fully in my consciousness, in my daily life. So thank you. I think that's complete.
This is Diane. I'll pick up the stick. I'm also feeling very grateful for so many things and coming into my own being more fully and more wholly and more centered, more connected. And I would just like to put out there an intention to continue to grow in the light and becoming even more whole and more connected, and in that space of greater service to all. And I think I would like to just be silent with that for about 30 seconds, and thank you for supporting that intention. Thank you, and I'm putting down the stick.
Hi, this is Nancy, and I'm picking the stick up. I feel like I have been now for a while going through a big transition, like another layer of the onion being peeled away in many aspects of my life. And I feel two things going on at once. One is that it's bringing up a lot of fear on all levels, and sometimes primal fear that is just so startling to me. And at the same time, I'm getting clues as I go along as to what this is about in an evolutionary sense for me, so that I feel like I'm really coming up against my truth in many of these areas, and that this is a good thing, and it's moving me to move in ways and to change things and to move forward in ways that I had just been putting off, perhaps wasn't ready to do yet. But so these two streams going side by side, and I ask for your support in my staying really centered in myself, in spirit, in God, and in fearlessness, as much fearlessness as possible, and in my warrior self and my personal power as much as possible, such that I can move through this with surrender, with intention, with fearlessness, with trust, and with faith. Thank you very much, very much. I'm putting the stick down.
Hi, this is Randy. I'm picking the stick up. I'm in the middle of a long Saturn return, a time of a lot of cleaning of karma, and it has been going brutally well. What I would like is the support that the fluidity, the unfolding, that it continue with this kind of brutal ease and joy and terror that stays fluid, and that the support continue on through to the end of November, when the Saturn return leaves my chart. Thank you, and I'm putting the stick down.
So I know I said 6, but there are actually 7 people on the call, and there is time for more sharing. So before we formally start the silent part of the call of our hour together, Matt, is there anything that you would like to share?
No, thank you.
So then I'd like to invite us to go into silence, putting our bodies into positions of comfort and ease, where we can relax and feel the flow where we can connect with each other and with Spirit. And so that there's energy moving, that we're receiving and we're giving. And remembering the circle format that we set up, where there's the rim of the circle, we're all side by side, and there's also a line of light connecting us with the flame in the center. Holding all that we've said and all that we've heard in our hearts as we go into the silence. And then, Diane, will you let us know when the 10 minutes is up?
Yes.
Thank you. Great. So then we have 10 minutes for sharing. And seems that can be a bit more free form, although we still might want to use a talking stick for that. It won't be timed, but do keep in mind that there are 7 people on the call, although maybe not everyone will have something to share, but I want to have a little space in case everyone does. And the sharing can be anything that you experienced in your sharing or in the silence, any guidance or inspiration or question that's arisen or any insight. It's pretty open if there's anything you're moved to share.
Hi, this is Randy. I'm picking up the stick. When we got into silent contemplation, what came back for me was that I hadn't been given the telephone number or the code for this call, and that I noticed once again in life that it works out anyway. And I recognize that the piece of karma that is getting cleared for me is my mistrust of the universe, that I use planning as a way of sort of guaranteeing outcomes. And both my wife and my youngest son, who is living with me, are not good at planning nor the skills that go with using a plan to make something happen. So it was a delight to see that it too, it works out. And that what's growing in me is this leaps and bounds of trusting the universe to unfold. Thank you. And that's it for me. I'm putting the stick down.
This is Diane. I'll pick up the stick. In the silence, I had this nice experience of this big space opening to the heavens and to light and to a lot of really nice energy. And it's just that reminder that it's always there and it's always available. And I was really appreciating the space to be in that space. And I think as a reminder for me, it's that making space for the space is simple and doable and desirable. Thank you. I'm putting down the stick.
I'll pick up the stick. It's topsoil. One thing I'm noticing is the energy in the call, like it really feels like we've made a circle to me. I feel a lot of flow and energy moving, and I like that. I like the sort of that. I like that image and that feeling of all of us being beside each other, focusing into a common center. It seems like in the world there are so many hierarchical things, and then so much abuse of that hierarchy that it makes me really appreciate a space where we're all sort of beside each other and cooperating and co-creating. Like there are different roles within our circle. Some people are space holders. Diane's been keeping time. I've been the host. But there's a way that we're all just in the circle as well. And I'm appreciating that. And as long as I have the talking stick, I was just double checking, and I realized that Mac, I've been calling you Matt, and sorry, I misheard, and I didn't remember from Gwen's email. But I wanted to acknowledge that Gwen told me that you were a long-time Tzaddian with Frank Elper, and I just really want to welcome you to the call tonight. And I realized I didn't do that at the beginning of the call, so I wanted to take a moment to welcome you and say thanks for coming. I'll put down the stick.
Hi. Well, thank you very much. It's just been a good experience for me as well. I just want to add to your circle is that I just saw a big column of light that we already all were able to establish with our within our circle, and that's pretty powerful and intense. And thank you for letting me participate in the program.
10 minutes left.
Great. Is there anybody who didn't share who's feeling a great need to share? Where it's really alive for you to share? If so, say your name.
Hi, it's Nancy, and I'll pick the stick up. I was realizing, I think, in the silence, in the energy of that time when we were all together silent, that during these periods of feeling really challenged and going through the changes, the karmic shifts and these transitions, that regardless of the love of family and friends, that I had this feeling of aloneness, that the path is really one which I was walking alone despite the love of certain people and a certain sense of loneliness in that, but just really a sense of realization that some of the discomfort of that just can't be diffused by the love of other people. But then in the midst of this silence, I felt a peacefulness that had to do with all of your energies and connecting in that pure energetic space, which felt very calm and peaceful and loving. And I want to thank you all for that. So I have a lot of gratitude for that. I'm putting down the stick.
Right. Is there anyone else who it's really alive to share something at this time? Great. So then let's move into a checkout, and then I'll do the closing remarks and end the call. For the checkout, I want to invite each person in the group to just say what's in your heart and alive with you as you're leaving the call, and just briefly, one sentence, a couple words, just briefly as a way to hear everybody's voice as we're leaving the call. I can start. I feel really expansive and good, and I'm grateful for everybody's participation and glad to have been in community together for this hour.
This is Diane. I would offer peacefully expanded.
This is Ken.
Ken, go ahead.
I offer gratitude and appreciation for the circle. Go ahead.
Randy, I'm feeling open-hearted and full-hearted. It is delicious. Thank you.
This is Nancy. I'm feeling grateful for feelings of mutual support, peace, serenity, and love.
This is Mac. I just feeling lots of love and connection, unity consciousness raising. I believe the 100th monkey theory is in effect, and that comes from observing since Frank Alford days. So I think we're there, folks. Enjoy.
And this is Gwen. I'm feeling gratitude and reminded of the power of love, whether it comes from outside or from deep within. So healing. Thank you.
Thank you. So thank you for joining this Spirit Gathering teleconference. This call may be archived. I think so far they all have been, so it seems pretty likely this call will be archived as an MP3. You can find the whole library of all the Spirit Gathering calls at www.tzaddi.org. The phone access to the recording of this call is available through the teleconference service, and until the next call gets recorded next month. And the playback number is 712-432-1085, and the access code is the same access code, 990322#. We hope you'll join us for the next Spirit Gathering. That's going to be on October 18th. They're always the third Tuesday of the month at 5:30 p.m. Pacific Time. These calls are hosted by Tzaddi, an interspiritual metaphysical organization founded in California in 1964. Tzaddi welcomes, nurtures, and supports people in celebrating and more directly experiencing their relationship with the loving presence of the divine. Our programs are open to people of any race, color, national or ethnic origin. Visit www.tzaddi.org to learn more. We now close with thanks and blessing. Thanks to Tzaddi's founders, Bishop Amy Keyes and Dorothy Blackmere, and to all who have been part of Tzaddi over all the years. Thanks to all of you who have been part of our community tonight. And thanks to the divine for supporting us always, even when we're not aware of it. I'd also like to thank Diane for being a timekeeper, and for Randy and Nancy for holding space and running energy with me on the call. I'm curious if there's anybody who feels moved to offer a blessing, and that we can close with that.
I'd like to offer a prayer.
Please do.
Divine Spirit, as we've come together in a circle, we feel that energy flowing one to another, not only in and through us, but to family and friends, to the communities at large. For we truly are the arms and legs of God, operating here on earth. We ask that our bodies and our minds be illuminated so that we understand the work that is ours to do. We give thanks for the opportunities that we've been given, but most of all, we give thanks for each other, for we truly are linked in one mind, one spirit, in all things, and for this we give thanks. Amen.
Blessed be. Thank you so much for that. I'm going to end the recording now.